In this video, I'll show you how and where to set up how Unify will create transactions in QuickBooks Desktop. Click on the gear icon, which will take you to the Settings area. Then select the Accounting settings in the Sync Sales area. Under the Select Type of Transaction to record sales, this is the type of transaction that Unify will create in QuickBooks Desktop, and there are several options: either invoices, sales receipts, or a sales order. Each one of these transaction types has specific ways to set them up. In the type of transactions for all sales, you can decide to utilize a single transaction type for all of your transaction Unify creates in QuickBooks Desktop, or you can create a different transaction based on transaction creation rules. The various rules are by payment method, that's in your online store, and by order status, specifically the order status that Unify uses to download transactions from your online store. The deposit to account is the bank account or the undeposited funds account that all of your transactions will hit when Unify creates them in QuickBooks Desktop. Payment method is generally the same as on your store, unless you want to record a specific payment method within your QuickBooks Desktop for all of your online sales channel orders. In the transaction numbers area, you can choose to have QuickBooks create the transaction numbers within QuickBooks Desktop, or you can utilize your web store numbers to be the transaction numbers within QuickBooks Desktop. Transaction and ship date. We generally use the order date for the transaction date, but if you want to record this as the actual shipping date within QuickBooks Desktop, you can set the ship date to shipping date. In the memo area, as you can see, there are many data options to display in the memo field of the transaction in QuickBooks Desktop. You can choose the option that's most applicable to how you use the memo field. In the product description area, generally the online product descriptions tend to be rather long. Most commonly, users choose the description for the product in QuickBooks Desktop since that tends to be truncated and more applicable to the information in QuickBooks Desktop. In the Set Email field as blank, either you prefer to have the email show or not. It's up to you. In the Recording Shipping Charges, this box should always be checked. This will enable the shipping charge to show up as a line item on the transaction in QuickBooks Desktop. And the line item, you can choose what name the line item for shipping will have on the transaction as well. The function to automatically build new assembly items, this is an optional setting, and it's only applicable if you've used assembly products and you have quantity available in QuickBooks in your Build of Materials items. This is an auto build feature if the products in your store are mapped to the assembly items in QuickBooks and the assembly item itself is out of stock. Tracking locations and classes. If you've enabled tracking sales by inventory location or classes in QuickBooks Desktop, you can choose to enable these data points when Unify creates the transactions in QuickBooks Desktop. This is also useful if you have a specific inventory location for each online sales channel. Classes are also a great way to streamline your data in QuickBooks Desktop and also utilize the report of profit and loss by class. In the Display Payment and Shipping Details, check this box if you want that information to show up on the transaction. The To Be Printed and the To Be Emailed are just indicators that are checked in the transactions. These are generally left unchecked. If you happen to see the option to record store credit, this option is enabled if you have that particular online sales channel connected and that online sales channel sends that information when Unify downloads the orders. Now click Save to retain your settings. These transaction settings will be utilized during the manual, consolidated, and automated syncing of sales to QuickBooks Desktop. You can repeat this setup process for each online sales channel and subchannel where you need Unify to create the transactions in QuickBooks Desktop. Thank you for watching.